Unit 2 test, Part B, Audio 1.
Hi, Jessica. How are you?
A bit disappointed, actually. I had a hockey match yesterday and it went really badly. We're out of the championship now.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Was it a tough match?
Put it this way, the other team had been unbeaten for 16 matches and they weren't going to let us come out on top. They played every dirty trick in the book. It was disgraceful.
Doesn't sound like much fun.
It wasn't. We were neck and neck at one point, but then one of their players dived in the penalty area. No one had touched her, but she made it look like she'd been pushed. We all knew she was faking it, but the referee awarded a penalty. I can't believe they got away with it. Of course, they scored the goal and we couldn't catch up after that.
Ugh, what a shame. Why do people have to take sports so seriously? It's like they want to win at all costs.
Well, funnily enough, I watched a talk about that the other day called Why Winning Doesn't Equal Success. The presenter was a gymnastics coach called Valerie Kondos Field. She explained how the idea of winning at all costs has become acceptable these days, and that some trainers put pressure on athletes to be the best. According to her, it's not the most effective approach, because some athletes end up damaged by their experiences. She mentioned one gymnast who'd had such a bad training experience that she didn't want to win any more competitions. What this gymnast thought was that being a champion would bring her even more unhappiness.
Gosh, that's shocking, but not all that surprising. After all, you hear stories about people being pushed beyond their limits, and not just in sports. I think it's every bit as bad in the business world, you know. A lot of people are forced to work ridiculous hours to achieve sales targets or whatever, and in the end, they get ill or too exhausted to work.
That's true. And I think the presenter was suggesting that this problem is bigger than just sports. Apart from the workplace, she also mentioned the pressure on school pupils to outdo each other.
So, what's her approach to coaching? I assume she doesn't encourage winning at all costs.
Well, at first, she did push her trainees because she didn't know how else to train them. She had no experience as a coach, so she copied what other coaches did. It was only when her trainees complained that she could see there was a problem. What they said was that her manner was unpleasant and rude, and they didn't feel motivated. She realised she would have to change her approach if they were going to fulfil their potential.
How did she do that?
She took a more whole-person approach, which meant knowing her trainees inside and out. While they were training, she focused on gymnastics, but when they weren't in the gymnasium, she encouraged them to talk about what else was going on in their lives. She made an effort to listen carefully and help them deal with their worries. Instead of focusing on the end result, like winning a competition, she focused on helping them develop as individuals.
Interesting. I'm sure we could all learn a lot from her. Could you send me the link to the talk so I can check it out myself?